It needs to be out there. You know,
I mean,
he just didn't react to this for no reason.
Right now on News 8 at 6, the exclusive interview with the family of a Davenport West High School student charged with attacking another student. Why they say their son is also a victim.
Plus, how you can help a Davenport woman who nearly lost her eye after a paintball attack.
Live from WQAD, this is News 8 at 6.
Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Waddison for Denise.
And I'm Jim Mertens. Thanks for joining us on this Friday night. Updated charges have now been filed in the Davenport West High School attack that left one student in the hospital.
But now the mother of the student who threw the punches is speaking out. In her first and only interview, News 8's Bianca Reyes explains why she says her son is a victim too.
The image of my son being perpetuated as a thug is out there now.
During their first one-on-one interview, Angela Hughes and Jeffrey Hickman say their son is a victim too.
The damage that they're trying to do is almost irreversible. But just like she's advocating for her son, I'm advocating for mine. My son didn't deserve any of this.
For the first time, we're seeing the photo that sparked this fight.
I've never seen him like that.
I've never seen him. Never seen him like that.
And these parents say there's a story behind that seconds-long clip.
What happened on Monday was a product of Jaden being cyberbullied.
And so do you think his actions were justified in what had happened?
I don't think that any of this should have happened.
Angela says this photo was taken of her son by another student working for the school paper. The photo was posted to social media, and when Angela's son asked for it to be taken down, the other student did, but not before it was shared across school.
That once the photo's out there, you can't take it back. Everybody knows that. That's common sense.
Has the thought crossed your guys' mind that the other boy could have died?
Yes, that has.
And I'm sorry.
That has, and we're sorry about that. Has the thought crossed anybody's mind that my son could have taken his life from being cyberbullied? There's two lives involved here.
This family says their son went from being the victim to being the suspect.
What he did wasn't right, but I understand why he did it. The picture should have never been shown.
Is there anything you want to say to the family of the boy who was hurt?
I'm sorry that your son was hurt.
Yes.
I'm so sorry about that. My son is not like that, and he would never do anything to hurt your child purposely. I just feel like he was frustrated. My son didn't eat or sleep until he found out whether or not that kid was okay.
Two families trying to make sense of a situation they say should have never happened.
Adults should have intervened way earlier than this. The superintendent.
News 8's Bianca Reyes now joins us live in studio. Bianca, a tough situation. We spoke to the victim's family earlier this week. Have they reached out to each other yet? What's happened?
Yeah, both parents tell me that they did reach out to the victim's family to offer their condolences and apologize for their son's actions.
Well, as we said at the top of the newscast, this boy is now facing more serious charges.
Right.
Yeah, so he now faces aggravated assault with a weapon for throwing a chair at the end of that video, and willful injury, a felony that's punishable up to 10 years.
And this is, of course, on top of whatever the school district might do as well.
Correct. He has an expulsion hearing on Tuesday.
All right. Thank you, Bianca. Tonight, you can also help a Davenport woman who nearly lost her eye after being shot in the face after a drive-by paintball attack. This is what Shelby Reichert looked like after a date night in the village of East Davenport last week. She was near the old firehouse when witnesses say a car drove by and started shooting a paintball gun. Brew in the village will now have a raffle tonight at 10, donating $1 from every beer sold to help pay for her medical bills. No arrests have yet been made in this case. We're also seeing winter-like temperatures. They continue just to hang on to the Quad City area right now. We're just hoping for at least one of the 2 weekend days to be nice.
Andrew Stutzky in for James tonight with hints of actually a warming trend on the way, right?
Yes, and boy, do we deserve it, especially after some of the brutally cold mornings we have woken up to as of late. Some of us in the teens this morning, and the picture really didn't get any better as we headed into the afternoon, despite a mostly sunny sky. Really just didn't have enough power to overcome the cold air aloft. We are getting some clouds moving in from the north this evening. This is actually good news, though, because it will prevent a dramatic dive in temperatures that we would otherwise see overnight. Winds have now switched to the south, which will help keep us a little bit warmer tonight, too. With many of us in the upper 20s, right around 30 degrees. We're at 30 on our Davenport Mid-American Energy Eagle Eye. We will stay in those upper 20s for tonight. And we have a nice warm-up planned just in time for the upcoming weekend. One of those days will be great to get outside, finish out some last-minute yard projects. We'll time out how long that warmth is going to be sticking around coming up.
Well, FEMA is denying Illinois' appeal for federal help for some residents recovering from this year's historic flooding along the Illinois and Mississippi rivers. Now, Illinois emergency management leaders are seeking a disaster declaration from the U.S. Small Business Administration. If approved, residents and business owners can apply for grants and loans. So far, FEMA has approved public assistance funding for 28 counties in Illinois, including Knox, Mercer, Rock Island, and Whiteside counties.
The University of Iowa wants to buy more land in North Liberty. The Iowa Board of Regents being asked next week to approve spending more than $2 million for the property. It would be next to some land the university already owns northwest of Iowa City. It's unclear what the university has planned for that land, which is right now owned by a church.
New tonight at 6, the future of a historic bridge in Burlington is now being looked into. The Cascade Bridge along South Main Street was closed to pedestrians back in April for fear of collapsing. Now the city has hired a company to determine whether the bridge should be repaired or torn down. According to a report from 2012, fixing that bridge could cost more than $6 million. Making a new one would cost about $3.5 million. The study will ask for public input and review those past engineering reports.
Quad City leaders met today to discuss the 2020 census with a focus on children under the age of 5. The Census Bureau reported, get this, about 1 million children were undercounted nationally in the 2010 census. They say a lot of families complete the census but actually forget to include their kids on the paperwork. Leaders in the area say it is necessary to have an accurate number so communities can receive proper funding.
For us to miss 1 million children, as was stated in 2010, 10 years is a lot for a child. That is their entire childhood when you think about that. And that's very sobering.
Area school districts have discussed becoming a location where people can go to make sure they complete the census. This will be the first time the census will also be available online.
People in the Quad Cities remembering Happy Joe Whitty by attending a luncheon. They gathered at the Waterfront Convention Center in Bettendorf today. Joe Whitty originally started that annual ladies' luncheon. People got to shop, and all that money raised goes to kids with special needs. The event also raised money for a new robot. It actually allows homebound kids to attend schools and field trips.
It's kind of like an iPad on a Segway, and they roll up and you see their faces and they're part of everything, and a lot of these kids don't get to connect like other kids do with school and teachers, and then when they come on the robot, they're the most popular kids in the room.
Organizers say right now they have one robot. They're trying to get more. Happy Joe passed away last week. Happy Joe's funeral services will be tomorrow morning at 10:30 at St. John Vianney Catholic Church in Bettendorf. Burial will follow. A celebration of life will then follow at Jumers from 4 to 9 o'clock. Services are open to the public. Still ahead on News 8 at 6, it's that time of year.
You're going to be hearing that sound for a while. Who is that guy with the bell? He looks like a good elf. We'll tell you about that, as well as the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign kicking off today and the new way you can donate right here on News 8.